What is your optimal decision? When a steel company faces a bid for iron concentrate, let's analyze the mystery of iron concentrate bidding. First of all, it is necessary to clarify that the winning formula of iron concentrate bidding is to make full use of the bidding simulation. Secondly, you need to understand the decision-making mindset of the offer. Estimate the total demand for iron concentrate for the year. Fit the total supply curve through competitive bidding simulation. And then know the balance price of iron concentrate for the year through the total demand and total supply. Total demand for iron concentrate can be determined by the demand for steel from steel companies. How to determine the steel demand of steel companies? Check the amount of steel booked in each group, the steel stock in each group minus sold goods, etc. To know which steel manufacturers are the high manufacturers of iron concentrate, the demand and offer of these manufacturers for iron concentrate in previous years. Thus analyze the demand and offer strategy of these manufacturers in the current year. These are the general ideas for decision-making. Are you ready? The next step is to analyze it in detail. Part 1. Beginning with an analysis of how total demand for iron concentrate is determined. Taking a class as an example. 4. For home appliances. 2. For steels and 2. For automobiles. The graph shows the results of the third year of bidding for orders, and the relationship between finished goods and raw material ratios shows how many tons of steel are required to fulfill these orders. 10 tons of steel are used to produce one car, and 1 ton of steel to produce one appliance. So, it is calculated that 83,000 tons of steel are needed to produce the cars and appliances as ordered. In addition, how to calculate the annual hoarding demand of automobiles and home appliances. You remember the corresponding rules? Steel manufacturers produce cars this year and sell them in next year. They cannot sell the steel they produce in the final year, and have to stock it by themselves to keep the game fair. Each steel company needs to guarantee 42,000 tons of steel in the final year, while each appliance needs to guarantee 10,000 tons of steel, the same as automobile. Assume that the steel manufacturers can meet their own inventory requirements of 42,000 tons each in the final year of production. Final year steel inventory requirement for auto and appliance manufacturers is equal to 1 multiplied by 6 groups is equal to 60,000 tons. The competition operates for 6 years and needs to spread the steel inventory requirement over the previous 5 years of inventory. So how many tons of steel would need to be stockpiled each year? The answer is the annual steel stockpiling requirement is equal to 60,000 tons is divided by 50,000 tons is equal to 12,000 tons. Is the total annual steel demand clear? Total annual steel demand is equal to 83,000 tons needed for auto and appliance production, plus 12,000 tons needed for annual inventory, is equal to 95,000 tons. Total steel demand in the final year is equal to 84,000 tons needed for steel manufacturers' inventories. If steel manufacturers can't meet its own inventory needs in the final year of production, they need to produce earlier to increase its inventory at this time. Increased demand for stockpiling. You can view the steel inventory levels at the beginning of the third year By using the decision data from the second year, place your mouse over the Performance module and select Decision Data. On the pop-up page, click on Storage Costs and select the second year. 2. See the steel inventory at the beginning of this year. Calculate the total steel inventory for the whole country at the beginning of the third year and add up the total steel inventory to 130,000 tons. At the same time, we can view the steel bookings for the second year. In the Steel Bookings module, place your mouse over the Steel Trading module. On the software page and select Steel Bookings. On the pop-up page, click on Transaction History and select the second year to see the steel bookings for the second year. You can see that there are no steel bookings for the second year. 2. Calculate the total steel stock of the whole country at the beginning of the third year through the decision dates of the second year. The total steel stock can be added up to 130,000 tons. At the same time, no steel was booked in the second year. From the above we can learn that steel inventories of 130,000 tons minus steel demands of 95,000 tons is equal to 35,000 tons is more than 0. So, the demands are met in current year. But steel manufacturers produce this year so that they can sell next year. What about next year's demand? Assume that the demand for steel next year is also 95,000 tons. 83,000 tons for auto and appliance production, plus 12,000 tons for annual inventory. 35,000 tons minus 95,000 tons for the next year's steel demand is equal to minus 60,000 tons. A minimum steel demand shortfall of 60,000 tons for the next year, and the need to produce steel in the third year, 60,000 tons, is the total minimum demand for iron concentrate. Clear? Steel manufacturers need 10 tons of iron concentrate to produce 1 ton of steel. The minimum total demand for iron concentrate is equal to 6 multiplied by 10 is equal to 600,000 tons. You should pay attention that 60,000 tons is a conservative estimate of the minimum demand, and the actual depends on the steelmaker strategy. Part 2. What is the average price of iron concentrate when supply meets demand? Using a class as an example. 4. For home appliances. 2. For steels and 2 for cars. How does the system simulate the total supply of iron concentrate? Go to the software system and select Iron Bidding. Select Bidding. Click on Simulation Tools, and you are ready to simulate. What should be done when the average price of iron concentrate is $290,000, 10,000 tons, and the total supply of iron concentrate at this time is 580,000 tons, which cannot meet the total demand of 600,000 tons. The higher the average price of iron concentrate, the more it is supplied. How to quote the supply can meet the demand. When the average price of iron concentrate increases to $300,000, 10,000 tons, the total supply of iron concentrate at this time is 630,000 tons. After the price increase, the total supply exceeds the total demand. What is the average price when supply and demand are equal? At this point, the average price can be calculated by using the interpolation method. How is it calculated? At an average price of $290,000, 10,000 tons. The total supply of iron concentrate at this time is 580,000 tons. At an average price of $300,000, 10,000 tons. The total supply of iron concentrate at this time is 630,000 tons. Using the formula of the interpolation method on the left, substituting the data from these 2 points, you can calculate the total demand of 600,000 tons equal to the total supply of 600,000 tons, when the average price of iron concentrate is $294,000, 10,000 tons. It is important to note that this average price is a conservative estimate and will on the actual market conditions. Part 3. How to anticipate large demand quotes and demand. Taking a class as an example. 4. For home appliances. 2. For steels and 2 for automobiles. By using the results of the domestic transaction trading and the reservation, it can calculate the total sales of the different steel companies for current year. Steel 1. With 50,000 tons of spot sales and 30,000 tons of future sales, had total sales of 80,000 tons. Steel 2, on the other hand, had total sales of only 50,000 tons. How can I find the corresponding data in the software system? Go to the software system. Select Iron Bidding. Select Details of Bidding Results. Select the second year. And you will know the bidding results for the second year of iron concentrate. The offer for steel 1 is $3.1 million per ton. If a large demand household has sufficient funds and the capacity to produce, he may be able to contract the whole of next year's output. It is also necessary to know what the last year's quoted price and demand for steel 1 was. Will it be the same as the last year? If steel 1 has sufficient funds and the capacity to produce, purchasing more than last year. So, how exactly does iron concentrate quote? How to quote when the supply and demand are just equal, and the average price of iron concentrate is $294,000, 10,000 tons. There is enough capacity and money for the high-demand manufacturers. This year's purchases are likely to exceed by more and average price above, by less and average price below. Thank you for watching.